guys in the dark.
I used to work with an older guy, old enough to be my father. I tried to be friendly with him because we worked in nearby departments. Didn't want trouble to be had from anyone I worked with. I guess no one was really nice to him there, so he took to me like butter to bread. He'd quickly leave his department if he saw me and just chill in mine and do all my work for me. I never asked him to, and preferred doing my own work because it gave me something to do. One day, my car wouldn't start, so he offered me a ride home. I agreed because F walking 10 miles. From that point on, he would show up randomly at my house, wanting to hang out, or go out to eat, or whatever. At first, I would let him stay for a few hours, because I thought he was harmless. But after putting up with him every day for a week, at work and outside of work, I got annoyed. Started avoiding my house, or pretending I wasn't home. He didn't like that too much. He started showing up at places I was at. Movie theater, mall, fast food places, even my mom's house one time. I couldn't figure out how he knew where the F I was each time, until a friend inspected my car and found an effing tracker on it. Once he realized he couldn't find me anymore, he took to cornering me at work. One time he had me cornered and shoved his tongue into my mouth. Naturally, I freaked out and bit him, and once I was able to get away. I ran to my manager's office. It was caught on tape. Thank effing heavens. And he was promptly fired. I ended up moving shortly afterwards and didn't tell anyone my forwarding address. Beyond family, I have him blocked on social media. I did see him once in a store, but he was with his wife, and I was with a friend who was built like a tank. I don't go to that store anymore.
One time I happened to be playing this game called Payday on Steam. I was playing online with a bunch of randoms. Right at the end of the game, there happened to be only one guy left. He decided to troll the rest of us, just throwing himself off of a cliff and doing anything that he could to damage us. Everybody in the game was getting mad, but this one guy who was playing just ended up sending me a friend request, saying that he enjoyed playing with me. I gave him the nickname Payday Buddy 6. Just like that, I had someone else to play Payday with. About a week of him sitting on my friends list. I really hadn't played with him at all between then and now. He decides to send me a message. The conversation follows. I should kill myself. Why, dude? All I do is just send anonymous chainmail to my classmates. He sends me a link to a scary picture of this guy staring right into the camera, with this wide, scary smile on his face, penetrating wide eyes. It was an extremely scary image. So, you sent that to everyone in class, I had asked him. In my school, yes. Why are you showing this to me? I don't have any friends, and I wish I had somebody to send stuff like this to. I honestly thought that he was trying to be funny. He legitimately only had 3 friends on his friends list. All seemed like normal profiles, but still he had hundreds of hours in different online games that he played. After that little conversation, I had set my profile to offline so that he wouldn't message me ever again. 2 days with no interaction. He suddenly messages me right out of the blue. There are some YouTubers that I would kill if I happened to see. Okay, dude. Leafy is here as cancer. I really want him gone. Alright, bud. I'm weird. I hate my math teacher. You know, I know where he lives. Suddenly, he sends me the address of his math teacher. I'm just gonna burn down his house. It would be really easy. Suddenly, I decided to send him a message saying, "Do it, pussy." I know I'm stupid for saying this. It's the kind of humor in my group. Honestly, I thought that he was just fishing for some kind of attention. Oh, I will. I'm not kidding. Alright, dude, whatever. I then got off the computer because I didn't want to hold a conversation with his attention seeking anymore. Another 2 or 3 days, suddenly he messages me once again. I did it. Yeah, sure, I replied. I had gone to his house last night. I poured gas right on his car. I lit it up. That's softcore, dude. Again, stupid. I thought he was just fishing for attention still. I thought that I was just being clever. Shut the fuck up. I hate people like you. You're all the fucking same. I would honestly hurt you too. By the way, I'm 6 feet tall, and I would kill you. I reply back, come at me. He sent me my neighbor's address. I realized that this wasn't a joke, that some little autistic child was trying to seem tough to strangers. Rotten house, dude. Nice try. I can and I will hurt you. I killed a cat last night. I thought you had burnt down your math teacher's house. I sent him a smiley face. Oh, I did both. I then unfriended, and I blocked him. I didn't hear from him for like a week. When suddenly in the morning time, I had gotten a Skype contact request from a guy with the same username and profile image. I'm writing this during my school period. I just can't stop thinking about how weird this dude is. I'm really wondering if I should call the police, or just consider myself overreacting. We happen to be in different countries, I think. It's not like he can touch me, but how did he get my Skype information? It has a different username and stuff, and it's all set to my Steam account, so what the fuck? This story had gotten blocked from my memory up until my girlfriend had reminded me of it a couple of days ago. I had started dating my now girlfriend at the end of my senior year. But before we started dating, I used multiple dating apps. In most of those dating app profiles, I had my Snapchat listed so that people could add me there. Mind you, nothing really led to anything with the dating apps. I would talk to people for quite a while. Eventually the conversation would just die down. When I began dating my girlfriend, I had deleted all the apps, but I never deleted my account, meaning people could still see my profile, and my Snapchat was in it as well. I realized this after a few people would add me. It didn't seem to go anywhere because I would tell them that I had a girlfriend at the time. And just as you would imagine, most of the conversations would end right there. But there was this one guy that had added me. I'll call him Adam. Adam had asked if I was available. Being straight, I was used to all sorts of guys adding me. I gave him that usual response. Sorry, I'm straight. I have a girlfriend. I expected him to leave me alone, but he didn't. Everything was normal at first. Like, how was your day? What did you do? Things like that. Being the nice guy that I am, I had responded because I thought this guy just wanted to be friends with me. Having a gay friend is okay with me. Suddenly, the messages progressively got more creepy. He had started asking questions about my girlfriend. Not the basic questions. Things like, do you have sex a lot? Does she tell you that you're good in bed? I simply responded with, dude, those are really personal. I don't feel like it's up to me to share my dating business with anybody. He would apologize after this, and then he wouldn't talk to me for almost a week. Then suddenly, he would hit me up again, and then ask me creepy questions once again. I eventually had told my girlfriend about this situation. My girlfriend happens to be super sweet. Also at the same time, she's very protective over me. She adds this guy, tells him that he needs to just leave me alone. That had enraged him, who responded with saying that I need to dump this bitch now because she is a cunt. Naturally, I defend my girlfriend, and then I block Adam. Everything was cool for about a week, up until another account had added me. This guy's name was Tyler. He seemed like a really chill guy, super nice to me, respected my relationship with my girlfriend. As time had went by, I suddenly started to notice that Tyler's vocabulary was very similar to Adam's. I really wasn't sure about it. I didn't make any assumptions that it was him. I gave Tyler's snap to my girlfriend, who adds him to investigate some more. As soon as she adds Tyler's snap, he flips out on her, which confirms that it is Adam. As soon as this realization has been made, I block him once again. Everything seems to go quiet from Adam for about a month or so. I happen to live in the suburbs of Chicago. My girlfriend and I live down the street from each other. Naturally, we do see each other quite a bit. Both of the families are really good friends with each other. The family would also house sit or pet sit for each other. Anyways, a month or so goes by, and I suddenly get a letter with no address or a name attached to it. It's just my name on the front. I open it up, and in shock, I read what was basically a love letter from Adam. It basically said that he loves me, and that he wants me to run off with him. It also takes a very sexual turn about halfway through, describing what he wants to do with me and what he wants me to do to him. Suddenly, two horrifying realizations had hit me. That he knows my address somehow, and he dropped that letter off himself, meaning that he happens to be in my town. I called my girlfriend, who is just as shocked as I am. After telling my parents about this, we called the cops. Unfortunately, since I had blocked him and removed his social media information, the letter had no return address. There was nothing that they could do about it. Every single day, a letter would just appear in my mailbox, until they started appearing in my girlfriend's mailbox as well. Her letters were worse than mine. He wrote how much he hated her and how much he wanted to hurt her, stating many times of the ways that he would inflict pain onto her until she had broken up with me, or worse. She had taken this to the cops as well. They couldn't do anything about that as well. My girlfriend's family had plans to go to Hawaii for vacation. They needed me to house sit for them. The first few days went just fine, until around one of the last nights of the week. Per usual, I was over at their house. I was watching TV on the couch when the power had went out. This happens to be around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was really dark when those lights had went out. The next few seconds were quite silent when I heard a window smash from the office. The layout of the house goes, from the front door to your left happens to be the living room. Straight ahead was the kitchen and the stairs going up to the second story. The right happens to be an office and the dining room. Upstairs, as soon as you reach the top, there was a bathroom right ahead, and then my girlfriend's room was right off to the right. The other bedrooms were on the left-hand side. I shot up, grabbed a kitchen knife. I ran upstairs to hide while I called the cops. I ran right into her room. I slipped into the closet. As soon as I was able to contact the operator, I had heard pounding of the intruder running up the steps. I had relayed all this information to the officer in time, who happened to stay on the phone with me as we both had remained quiet. The intruder had taken a left when he reached the top of the stairs. That gave me more time for the cops to arrive, and for me to get ready just in case I needed to defend myself. A few minutes had gone by when I heard the intruder start walking towards my girlfriend's room. In the only few seconds that I happened to have, I slipped out of the closet, positioned myself next to that door. As soon as he had opened up the door and started to enter the room, I took the kitchen knife and drove it right into his shoulder. What sounded like a young man had screamed, just as I heard the heavy metallic object make a thud as it had hit the ground. I bolted out of that house, where I was met by 4 squad cars, the cops with their guns all raised. I put my hands up, shouting that he was upstairs in the right room. A few moments go by. The intruder happens to be dragged out. He's still screaming in pain. The siren lights flooding the streets. I'd gotten a small look at his face. It was Adam. I was informed later by an officer that the metallic thud was made by him dropping his handgun. I found out that Adam was from Texas. He had traveled up to my state to be with me. He had rented a room at a local motel and would put letters in both my girlfriend's and my mailbox daily. He would do this early in the morning. All of this was confirmed by security footage of the motel that he was staying at. That night, he had plans to kill my girlfriend, her family, all so I would choose to be with him. He pried open the power box, switched off the power to her house, along with the neighboring houses. He broke in, thinking that she was going to be there. Unfortunately for him, she was enjoying a vacation. To be honest, I really have no idea how this outcome would have been different if they did not go on vacation. I am very happy that I still have my girlfriend, as well as her family. I really hope that Adam just stays the fuck away from me and my girlfriend. I was only 17 years old when I first met A. All of my life, I had wanted to be a part of the movie industry like most kids do, so I jumped on the opportunity when the film industry started booming in my home state. I was an extra in a film they were shooting a few towns away from me. On any movie set, they would hold extras in a giant waiting room. We wait for the opportunity to be used for the scene when they needed it. The gymnasium that held us in was huge and held lots of people. I found a small group of boys to hang with while we were waiting. I've always had more guy friends than girlfriends, as I have more in common with them. Another strange kid joined our group. That is who I'm referring to as A. We could tell that he was different, and all of us in the group were easygoing and accepting of everyone. We became good friends by the end of the 2 weeks that they used us for the film. We all added one another on Facebook so that we could let each other know when other projects were in town. I had not heard much from him in the next few months. I graduated high school, and I was just enjoying my summer with my friends and family. I was not planning on going to college yet, as I did not know what I wanted to pursue. Out of the blue one day, I received an email from the casting director about another film coming to town. I jumped at the opportunity, of course. Arriving on set for the first day, I did not spot any of my friends from the first project, except for A. I was lingering by the craft section table, grabbing a few snacks, and I noticed him walking towards me. I said hello to him, and he gave me a half-assed hello. No big loss there, I guess. I was not sure why he was being a dick, and frankly, I did not care. I ended up having a wonderful time working on that project, and I was sad when it was over. I had interacted with A later on in the shoot, as it lasted for several months. He warmed up to me again, and of course, I was pleasant to him due to the fact that I could tell he was different, and didn't want to be biased against someone who may have a slight mental disorder. A few weeks after the project ended, I began receiving Facebook messages from him. He would ask me how I was, and I'd be cordial to him. He would talk to me about projects he was working on or planning to work on. He seemed like he was trying to work his way up in the industry, desperately. I could tell he was lonely, so I figured everyone could use a friend. Keep in mind, at this time, I was approximately 18, maybe 19 years old. I was a very naive and sheltered young lady. He could sense this about me, and cruelly attempted to take advantage of that. I cannot remember, but somewhere down the line we had exchanged numbers. He would call me at odd hours of the night, and non-stop rant about the actors we had worked with on set. He became obsessed with certain actors that I liked, and would talk about them. First, he would catch every movie interview that they had, and did non-stop talk about it. He knew more about these actors than I did. I gathered that he was strange and potentially unbalanced, but I felt sorry for him. I'm not sure why I let this go on for so long, but I was young and dumb. Eventually, he began venting to me about his personal problems and would ask me for advice. He would rant about these women that had rejected him. One of them was a married woman that we worked with on set, and asked me what I would do in this situation. At first, I thought he did not even like women, because he would talk about this particular male actor that I liked. He described a butt shot of the guy in an obscure film that he saw with him in it. I thought that I was safe. He began pretending that he had relationships with these actors that we worked with. At this point, I knew that it was all bullshit. One day I called him out on it, and he completely flipped out on me. He would not shut up about it. He kept shouting, "What do you think, I'm a liar? Why would I make this up?" We were bottom feeder extras. None of us really know any of the actors. I finally said to him that I was joking so that he would just calm down. Next thing I know, he is confessing his love for me. I tell him that is kind, but I only think of him as a friend. Wait for it. He flips out again. This is when the damage starts. He calls me a stuck-up wannabe. Tells me that I think that I am too good for everyone, and I am a diva princess. Not even close to being true. He completely blew up my phone with terrible, rude messages. I would get 10 to 15 messages at once. He accused me of only wanting to be in the movie industry so that I could be around celebrities. Really? That is all he talked about. I had to listen to him rant about them for hours. I was not going to be nice anymore. I replied with, "I tried to be your friend because I figured that you needed one. You seemed down at the time, but forget it. I could not change my number because of work-related reasons." By now, I had my number in several different databases so that I could know when projects were coming to town. I loved what I was doing, and I was not going to let a stand in the way of it. I blocked him on Facebook and just began ignoring his text messages. He still continued to send me stupid texts every day. He would send me a sigh or a whatever. The first few days or weeks of ignoring him, I would wake up to 10 to 20 horrible, evil text messages. At the time, I was an overly sensitive girl, and it did not sit right with me. I acknowledged the fact that this guy is clinically insane, and that I was no longer going to be the nice guy. I began working behind the scenes as a production assistant. I was told by a fellow PA that I should start listing credits on IMDb because potential employers will look you up. He recommended I list every production that I've worked on so that they knew how to handle myself on set. I did so. A few months later, I noticed that one of the users commented on my page. It was a very rude, snide remark. It was definitely considered slander, so I reported it. I clicked on the username and saw that they had commented on other members of our local community. They had made false derogatory claims about some of my friends, and I reported those comments as well. I looked further and noticed that they had made stupid comments about a few more famous actors, the same exact ones that A ranted about for hours and months before. I could tell it was A by the style of the writing, and the things that he had spoken about them working on, some films that weren't even all that popular, and even the exact same phrases that he had said to me on the phone. I knew exactly who was trying to slander my friends and I. I found every reason to report his account, and eventually everything was taken down. I couldn't do much about the bigger named actors, but at least I could protect my local film family. How pathetic can you be? Just because a group of women politely reject you, you're going to lose your shit? There are a lot of weirdos in that line of work. It attracts lonely people who wish for something better for their life. Eventually, I left that industry, not because of this individual alone. Through the years, he would try to contact me. Eventually, I figured out how to block his number. If I had a Twitter or IG account, he would say something stupid, but I would just ignore him. I was a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding. To her bachelorette party, we wore what we wanted. We weren't matching, and in the photo, you could not tell which one was the bride. I had it captioned, "Bride-to-be." A few hours later, I noticed a comment. It was A. "Are you getting married?" Sigh. Seriously? What did he care? I rejected him 7 years prior. Did he think that he had a chance? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.